DuckTales, Season 1, Episode 22. The Secrets of Castle McDuck.
Oh, okay. So I basically spend the entire time just staring blankly into space anyways. Okay.
Yes, the McDuck overload of
Oh no, you broke Webby.
yes.
I just love to say, wait, your parents are alive? How are you still alive?
Well,
Yeah.
he also had that time he
Cursed
spent
them.
in that what was it? It was from that episode with
The Klondike. He was frozen in that glacier.
yeah, he's frozen in the glacier, and he also afterwards in that same episode he is like saying that there was he was stuck somewhere for a while, and
Oh yeah, the alternate dimension of the Demigorgon or something.
yeah, something like
Where
that, which
he had to stop an uprising that she caused.
yeah, there was something like that, and so he was just like, so yeah, he's been around for a while.
He, according to Webby's unofficial official biography of him, he was born in the 1800s.
Which it's only gonna get harder and harder for Disney to explain
Well,
Scrooge's age. It's like
Scrooge's parents were cursed when Scrooge got his fortune and sent them something that ended up cursing them, and Scrooge never fixed it because he wants his mommy and daddy around, even though they piss him off.
Aww.
well, yeah, it's the druid stones as part of the of the castle that keeps them frozen in their current age, but it also means that he can only visit them every 5 years or something like that. So,
Hey, maybe those druid stones are the same type that created the thing with the ponies.
yeah. um, let's see. Yeah, and let's see. Now, there's a lot of. I'm looking through this and like, yeah, you got Webby Overload, and you've also got the. What was it? Which one was
The painting and the whole search for the spirit of Celine and their mom and
yeah, and Dewey not telling anybody about what happened until they actually like
confront him.
yeah confront him about it.
You
It's
don't
like
think sorry because he got caught.
Yeah, pretty much. But isn't that the way most kids are? They won't tell you anything until they get caught.
yeah, you have to sort of logically pin them in and make them tell the truth by eliminating no, that's not true because you did this, and then oh, no, that's not true because you did this. It's like, all right, when there's nothing left to sort of block everything off, you just sort of okay. But
Yeah.
it is interesting to see, and the difference in the way it's not it's a good deal softer than like his parents to him, like the way they talk to Scrooge versus how he talks to the triplets. It's like he's much more supportive and much less hard on them, but he does still give them grief from time to time. It's like
I love the fact that jettison that jalopy from my driveway right now. Which is a total mimic of the very first episode.
Yeah, it's like, that runs in the family. He got it from somewhere.
Yep.
His frugal nature, yes, very much. He did get it from somewhere. It's like, but um, I was just going through the wiki to hit any big points. It's a fun episode, with adventure and such. And the best one is the
the end with the treasure, and it's like, what do you think this is? A handout? Find it yourself.
yeah.
Like, even their great uncle, who was supposed to have left some secret treasure, is like,
Yes,
you freeloader.
the treasure of the Knights Templar. It's like, you found it, but it wasn't there. Oh, and there's also the bit where they have all this, they have the dog chasing them, and then suddenly, they think they're standing together and we're gonna face off against this dog and this vicious beast, and they think they scared it off, but like there's a whole the whole of the clan McDuck is behind them watching.
Yeah.
It's like, and it scares it off, and like, haha, we scared it off. It's like,
That was kind of an awe moment, though.
and I imagine there's some Donald Duck, some Duck family, just nerds going crazy because there's probably all of them were on that. There's a Duck family tree that like the guy who sort of set up the whole Duck family. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he set up the whole like Duck family and did a whole Duck family tree and whatnot. And I wouldn't be surprised if every single one of them appeared.
Is it me, or did Donald Duck seem bigger?
What?
Did Donald
Oh,
Duck
yeah,
big?
because it wasn't actually. He's making the joke because Launchpad was covering for Donald.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So did I until he mentioned it.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched it in a while. The last one I watched was actually the first episode of of this current season, because teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. I was saying there's got to be Duck nerds out there. The last bit of trivia on the page is Huey, Dewey, and Louie's birthday is revealed to be during the week of April 15th, which was the release date of their animated debut in the 1938 short Donald's Nephews. This, however, contradicts the comic story Donald Duck in Panama, originally printed in Walt Disney's Vacation Parade number 4, in which they mention that they are Leos, which would put their birthday between July 22nd and August 23rd. You have the contradictory, established,
Although to be fair, how many times have we done that with Star Trek?
Oh, I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm not
no.
putting them down or something. I'm just saying. And I was saying when I was saying about the duck nerds, is like they were probably really enjoying all the ducks showing up behind them because they're probably on that tree. And it's like, and those sorts of people exist. And
Yep.
there's my evidence that those sorts of people exist, because only somebody who was that,
Anal
obsessed. And
retentive
I'm not saying that's a
obsessive.
bad thing. It's you have your fandom. I'm not saying anything bad about you, but that's evidence that these sorts of people who are hyper, obsessed and love it and just get into the lore and just that's their thing. There it is. It's like, oh yes, this is contradicted by this. It's like, yeah, I know. I was like, I've got nowhere to talk. Star Trek and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, I got nowhere to talk on this.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I know.
I got nowhere
We
to.
we all geek out about shit like that.
Yeah, it just depends on what your stuff is.
Yeah, what fandom you geek out about. I mean,
Yeah.
how often when we're doing a Doctor Who review, I'm like, yeah, but that contradicts the classic series like this.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and if you don't think you're a nerd about something, you
I
probably are.
I
You just don't
it,
realize it yet.
it reminds me of a comic I read where this little kid, this like one kid is there with its glasses playing like some sort of card game or something, and it's like, you nerd, you like that sort of stupid Magic the Gathering shit, and it's like, who is your favorite? It's like make some sort of sports comment, and the dude just like spouts off, and it's like, nerd.
Yeah, it's just fantasy football. I mean, how nerdy is that? If you really break it
Right?
down, I
That's
mean, it's
basically role playing with freaking athletes instead of fictional characters.
yeah,
That's basically all that shit is.
yeah, it, 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 it's very nerdy. I mean, look at all the statistics involved, all that stuff that's involved, except for it's now about sports. So, no, I'm not a nerd. I like it, but it's sports, so sports is okay. Sports is it's manly, I can I can enjoy sports.
Freaking. It's the people like that who are in so much denial that make me just want to laugh in their face and call them super nerds.
Like, you're nerdy about this thing. There's different. Everybody's interested in something. There's politics nerds, history nerds, sci-fi nerds, sports nerds. Everybody has a passion that you are a nerd about. You know way too much about for the but it's cool because everybody has their little enthusiasm, their thing that makes them go, yeah, I enjoy that. I love knowing all about that. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Everybody's got something like that. So let your own nerd banner fly. I mean, sports nerds may be a more acceptable way of being nerdy, but
Yeah, but
realize
that's so mainstream.
yeah, you have fellow nerds, and be kind to your fellow
What
nerds because you're
one of my
also a nerd.
one of my favorite quotes is from The Neverending Story. Human passions have mysterious ways in children as well as grown-ups. Those affected by them can't explain them, and those who haven't known them have no understanding of them at all. Some people risk their lives to conquer a mountain peak. No one, not even they themselves, can really explain why. Others ruin themselves trying to win the heart of a certain person who wants nothing to do with them. Still others are destroyed by their devotion to the pleasures of the table. Some are so bent on winning a game of chance that they lose everything they own, and some sacrifice everything for a dream that can never come true. Some think their only hope of happiness lies in being somewhere else and spend their whole lives traveling from place to place. And some find no rest until they have become powerful. In short, there are as many different passions as there are people.
Mm-hmm. But getting back to the ducks. Yeah, and the whole thing turns out to be just one massive prank on Donald. It's like, yeah, he took his cap. She took his cap and hid it in there.
Yeah.
Really? I was just supposed that Donald was gonna be there next time. Like, she went 5 years ago, or maybe
It would have
it
had
would
to
have
have
been
been,
10.
yeah.
Because there's no way that they're 5.
No, they're
They're
10 years
10.
old.
They're 10. So yeah, and even just sniff testing. I mean, we know that they're at least 10 or so because there's no way they're 5, and so going by that, so in the
Plus,
5-year
one of
range.
the episodes they said 10 years ago. They
Yeah.
said they were 10-year-olds. I don't remember which one, but it was
Yeah.
in the early seasons. So.
Because they haven't quite hit Quack Pack ages yet. Where they were
Oh
all Jonathan
gosh.
Taylor Thomas, but duck form.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I feel like quacking, so I think I will. And I just made anybody who's watching this who remembers that show, about 1 million of them cringe. It's
Yeah.
yes, they were all Jonathan Taylor Thomas as a duck.
Pretty much.
Like they were all that edgy. I'm too cool for this. Well, not edgy necessarily. It's just I'm too cool for this. I'm just so cool. Oh, look at me, I'm so cool. You're wearing sand shoes. I mean, what?
No, they may parody that.
I had a moment. Oh man, I love 11. Oh, he's so great.
Yeah, he is awesome.
Look at me, I'm Mr. Cool. I'm so cool. Oh no, I'm wearing sand shoes. Oh, that was so good. Compensating for something? What? Regeneration. It's a lottery. Oh.
I think Dex is drunk again.
I am not drunk.
He's high. Get it right.
Nah.
Not either.
Hi, Dex.
I am in no way inebriated or in any way
Intoxicated?
intoxicated or inebriated or, otherwise have an altered mental state. I'm just goofy. Yeah, we went to the same place at the same time.
That's what she said.
This is getting very silly.
You think that's silly. I've had step, turn step, dodge and step stuck in my head this entire time. Which is like at the very beginning of the first episode of the second season.
Okay, I was like, I don't know what that song's about.
But it's the tune to the very beginning of the DuckTales theme. The dun 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 dun.
Yeah. But
yeah, I've had that entire that little thing at the very stuck in my head.
there's not a lot else up there. I mean, we talked about the demon dog. We talked about them being upset with him about the not sharing. We talked about a lot of things. The only other thing is the number one.
And as soon as they left, she had a million things to say, and it's like, up there she is.
Yep. Well, and we also had the one thing that was revealed in this was the origins of Scrooge's number one dime. We already knew he got it shoe shining, but that it was Fergus's way of
giving
helping
him a means.
Yeah, helping
To
him
make his
without
own
directly helping him, making him earn the help. It's like, yeah, I got him to go do that, and I basically gave him his number one dime, but made him earn the number one dime by cleaning the boots.
Basically, you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. You give a man a fish, he only eats once.
Yeah,
and you set him on fire, he dies instantly.
But anyway, is there anything else?
No.
I felt so bad for poor Lunchpad.
Have an identity crisis. Am I?
Yeah. He's like, wait, I'm Donald?
Although whichever one said, I'm going to inherit this castle, it's like, I realize that they're immortal, right?
Right?
Yeah, there's a
The others
problem with that.
die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in order to
That's
inherit,
probably Louis, because Louis is all about the inheritance, all about the money. There's a
yes,
reason he's the green one,
yes.
and it's not his love of the environment.
Like, what? You like nerd stuff? I like gold.
Yep.
Although my question is, so I get that they can only have like visitors every 5 years, but can they leave the house?
It's
Is what
probably quantum locked.
Because where do they get all their food? Like the sheep gut.
They probably have sheep on their property.
Okay, so they can go out into their property then.
I
Yeah,
would assume
their
so.
property probably is just becomes unattainable.
Well, it's probably what it is. Is there's an aura around it of this is the area in which, like the druid stones create like a bubble of time, of immortality, of aging immortality, and anti-aging sort of thing, and then it goes out of phase with reality for 5 years. Then every 5 years it phases back in. So they still have all their land and their sheep, and knowing Fergus, it's all self-sustaining. With
Exactly, because he didn't really have a fortune to begin with, so he had to learn how to be self-sustaining.
yeah, so all the sheep and the such, and yeah, all that. So I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Also, the whole haggis thing made me think of Merida and that scene in Brave, where it's like, eat your sheep intestine.
anyway, I think we've sufficiently covered that.